What is going on, YouTube? It is Mr. Smith back with new Madden 16 news. If you guys missed it yesterday, maybe you had to work or whatever the case was, and you missed the press conference by EA talking about Madden 16, then I'm sure you're online looking at YouTube videos right now. Now, I'm going to start off this video by saying that if you're looking for a video where I'm just going to bash the game or someone to bash the game and talk about how bad it is, you are not going to find that here. I love Madden year in and year out. I can speak honestly about the game. I can talk about what sucks about it, the flaws about the game, but each and every year I'm going to love it. So I'm just going to talk straight up about all the things that they added, what I like, what I didn't like. So first off, we're going to talk about what they're showing here in the video, which is this new draft champions thing. Essentially, it's like Madden Ultimate Team, where you can draft your team each and every time, and I guess you play 4 games. So unlike Madden Ultimate Team, where you play the full season of, I think, 10 games and then the playoffs, this is actually only 4 games. You draft your team, 15 rounds, so you're not spending a ton of time drafting your team. You draft 3 guys each round, so you don't draft your entire team. And basically, it's really like Madden Ultimate Team, except you don't need to spend all that time building up your team. To me, Madden Ultimate Team is a full-time job, and this, what it does is it allows you to draft a team. You get in an online tournament. You got to win 4 games to win the championship. If you lose in the first round, you go back, you draft an entirely new team. So you can do it as quick or as slow as you want. If you're the type of person, you know exactly what you want to do. You want to draft a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, you're all offense, or maybe you want to draft all defense. Whatever the case may be, you can go in, you can do that quick, start up a new season, and just do that repetitively. And there's no time that you really need to invest. Now, for me, as a guy that's busy doing a lot of different things, and Madden Ultimate Team is too much work for me to keep up with the Joneses, I personally really love this mode. Now, we're getting into really probably the biggest feature, which is the battle for air supremacy, where they talk about not only wide receivers, but defensive backs and defenders being able to make plays on the ball. So the first one is having the ability to do an aggressive catch by pressing, I guess it is the X button as soon as the quarterback releases the ball, and it's going to allow you to go up and make an aggressive catch, which a lot of people are going to assume that it's, just face catching all over again. But, if you can only really pull off an aggressive catch, this is just my opinion, by pressing the button right after you throw the ball, then it's going to be a little bit different, in my opinion, rather than being able to cut to the inside or swerve in any direction and then press the spectacular catch. I feel like if you need to press the aggressive catch button right away, and that's how they've detailed it, then it's going to be a little bit harder if you're not going to be able to get those aggressive catch animations if you choose to just regularly click on and cut to the inside the way that we know it to be. So there's going to be a bit of an issue. Now, the other issue is that, let's just say it is overpowered, and then anybody, so any player with no skill, is able to throw the ball and then press X for an aggressive catch right away without anything else, then that could be an issue that some people are concerned about. If you're a little bit of a lesser skilled player, then you probably really like that, because then you can face catch and keep up with the Joneses as far as the people that like to abuse that over and over, the same guys that run PA end around, things like that. Now, we also need to not forget that you can also do this on defense. So you can either jar the ball free, or you can do an aggressive defense. Now, in Madden 15, the one issue was that players didn't really react. So the way I see it, with an open mind, and I'm not going to sit here and just be complimentary of the game over and over, but as you can see, some of these players are making interceptions. Well, in Madden 15, our defender would not react to the ball. So at least if there's a mechanic in there, such as pressing a button to do an aggressive tactic or whatever, aggressive move on the wide receiver or on the ball, at least it actually gives us a chance to have the defender react. So there is two ways to look at it. The gameplay for the most part, as you can see here, I mean, this is a trailer. We all know what they've done. They make it really aggressive, not in-game footage. And then you've got stuff like this with Odell Beckham making an amazing catch. And this is the type of thing that really, really worries people. Hold on, I'm just going to restart the video that I'm watching so we can go over it all over again. Okay, so I know that worries a lot of people. They think, oh my God, we just had Madden 15 with all these catches. Like, look at Jerry Rice with that crazy catch like that. It's going to be even worse. And then that Odell Beckham. Like, I'm a firm believer that EA loves to just go after what's popular. And because Odell Beckham, if he had made that catch on a Sunday afternoon at 1 or 4 p.m., that wouldn't even be part. That animation wouldn't even exist in Madden 16. But because he did it in prime time, where everybody was watching that game, they immediately incorporated it into their game because they know everybody talked about it. It's the same reason they focused on defense last year. The Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl, and I know that the game wasn't really defensive to a lot of people. They feel at the beginning of the year it was like, oh my God, offense is really hard and defense is overpowered. And then as the year went on, they're like, oh my God, there's no defense in this game. That happens every year. There's never a year where that doesn't happen. So, I just feel like EA definitely wants to go after the big, exciting thing that gets talked about the most. Seattle's defense the year before. And then now the Odell Beckham catch. That was just a huge, huge topic. And Odell Beckham is clearly already one of the better wide receivers in the NFL, assuming that he can keep up that kind of pace. So for me, the gameplay, I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to go crazy. A lot of guys on Twitter and stuff are just like going crazy how bad the game is. Each and every year what happens is, right, everyone talks about, oh, you got to update gameplay. Update gameplay. We need wide receiver, defensive back interactions. We need defensive backs to react. They don't react, this and that. And every year, EA puts out a game that has a lot of features that they try to sell, like little gimmicky type things. This year, we really didn't hear much at all about Madden or any of these little gimmicky features other than this whole, yard after catch button that you can press, conservative catch or aggressive catch, and the same goes for defense. As you can see, there's wide receivers that are making plays on the ball, but you're going to also see some examples of defenders making plays on the ball as well. As you can see there, jumping up and making a play. Now that looked like a traditional play, but maybe it was, a reaction based on the corner. There's another great catch, which I know after a year like what we had, worries a lot of people, especially with a pass like that, a pass lead down. We had to deal with hitches and curls all year long, being insanely tough to stop. Pretty much people's entire offense. You could just have a couple routes out there with a smoke screen or a hitch route or whatever, and you just couldn't guard it all. So to think about that after a year that we had, I can understand some people's concerns, but the one thing that we can't do is we can't overreact. We know that each and every year, okay, if there's one thing that EA does is they change the way that the game is played. One year, something is going to be overpowered, and the next year, that thing doesn't even exist anymore. So while they're introducing these aggressive catches and stuff like that on a year after face catching, so on and so forth, a year after PA end-around, I can guarantee you that PA end-around will not even be a good play at all. That's just one thing that EA does. Even though they refuse to update during the year and patch stuff, they do a good job of eliminating those things the next year. So that's the question. Did they do a good job at eliminating that type of stuff with spec catches like you see here, so-called face catching? The way I see it is, as long as defenders can play the ball well, and we won't know until we get our hands on the game or until other people that have played the game speak up about it, we won't really know. So the whole overreacting thing definitely has to go. I'm going to love Madden every year. I'm definitely excited for Madden this year. I can't put a lot of time into Madden Ultimate Team, so I just love that new Draft Champions feature, and I think there's going to be a lot more to that. We're probably going to see a lot more to that. Graphics wise, I mean, the game looks the same. This is what I'm talking about. Every year, people want an upgrade in gameplay, but then EA finally doesn't focus on all these gimmicky features, right? And now all of a sudden the game's the exact same. Well, yeah, the game does look the same, but maybe what they did, right? You just got to think with an open mind. It could be wrong, but maybe what they did was they focused on gameplay for the entire cycle. Aside from a few things like this catch wide receiver thing, whatever. And yes, I know people are thinking pass leading the wide receiver is just like Madden 13. Well, that's fine, but maybe they just worked on gameplay for the first time ever. That catch there is ridiculous. It's going to get a lot of hate, and I really hope it's not in the game at an excessive level. But, you know, we're going to have to find out. So far, I'm definitely excited at what they showed so far. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.